It's Music Industry Masterclass Night on Mixing Night with me, two-time Grammy winner Ken Lewis. Tonight, 10 industry veterans offer you their insider secrets. Wavy Wayne joins me live for a discussion. Brilliant videographer Annette Navaro offers live tips on preparing for your photo or video shoot. K-pop producer Rinius gives you the roadmap to music industry success. Double Grammy winner Nicole Zuraitis brings you uncommon music career paths. Artist Coburn offers her indie artist best practices. Molinder from Session Studio joins us to help creatives find, protect, and collect our rights. Wissing brings you studio recording insurance claims. Tonight we're giving away Transit 2 from Andrew Huang, as well as a year of Session Studio. It's Music Industry Masterclass Night on Mixing Night, starting now. Welcome to Mixing Night. I'm your host, Ken Lewis, here with the lovable hellhound Mazakeen Lewis, holding down treats and security. And I won my second Grammy statue on Sunday. Holy fucking shit. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of cursing tonight after my second Grammy in 2 years. Man, I will definitely be talking about that later. Did you all watch the awards? I stayed home to watch with friends and family, and gotta say it was really nice. I liked being with friends and family this time. If you are new to Mixing Night community, welcome friends. Settle in, fire up your speakers, your headphones, maybe pour a glass of wine, kick back. Tonight is about community and leveling all of you up. It is Music Industry Masterclass Night. So last month I reached out to many of my really interesting industry friends and asked them to contribute their knowledge to tonight's show, and they really delivered. Exciting show ahead. However, just an aside, my heart is absolutely broken for Los Angeles. Please keep in mind that Los Angeles over probably the last 100 years has contributed more to culture and arts than probably any other place on planet Earth at any other time in human history. Music, film, TV, sports, culture, you name it. I mean, it's just a mecca. And it's one of the most remarkably beautiful cities on Earth, and I've been everywhere. So anyway, I can see you guys on the chat roll up there. You are right in front of me all night. So please say hello and ask me a question if you guys want me to answer. I'm going to be doing a little Q&A throughout all the different segments tonight. And we have Mixing Night people harvesting questions and beaming them directly to my iPad in front of me. We have the technology. Let's see. So check the agenda on the screen for the general flow of the night. We are action-packed tonight. I'm going to try and stay on course. We'll see. You are all in for a real treat. All right, less blah blah and more Mixing Night. Side note, I just started a musical group called Radiolarians. So Radiolarians are me, Michael Moss, This is Torch, and I Know Fash. The four of us sync up to make some pretty epic music, and I'm going to sprint mix one of those songs tonight for you called Evacuation. I think this is a crazy sync record. Let me know what you guys think. Drop us a comment and let us know what you guys think of Evacuation. I don't know if we're going to release it or if we're just going to pitch it for sync. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. And if you have a friend, please reach out and let them know that we have the craziest broadcast cooking up tonight. Tap them in. And thank you all to this community. We just hit 15,000 YouTube subscribers and 5,000 Instagram subscribers. Thank you so much. I think we're doing a sale on ALLCOMP to thank the community. For those who don't have it yet, don't sleep. So we're super happy about that. And March Mixing Night enters our 6th year of broadcast. Can you believe that? So this is our last show of our 5th year broadcasting. We started second week of pandemic during lockdown, broadcasting right outside of New York City when it was being hit with a nuclear bomb. And we're still going. So we really love it, and we hope you do too. But now, sprint mixing. So sprint mixing is faders down to finished in only 10 minutes with the best rough mix that you can possibly do. I use it to build my instincts, to allow myself to trust my gut and make much faster decisions. And the way I typically do it, and you're about to see, is I'll make 5 or 6 or 7 very fast decisions right in a row, bum, 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 and I'll kind of half listen as I go, and I'll position them, and then I'll back up and I'll evaluate, and then I might make minor adjustments. And the other thing that you'll see me do is when you see me solo very quickly, and just listen to something in solo for like a second or two, all I'm doing is I am allowing my brain to absorb all of the characteristics of that sound. It's like, oh, this is a electric guitar panned half left, a little bright and thin, and it's got a spring reverb on it. Okay, back in. And I do that in about a third of that time processing, and then my brain can track it around the mix much more easily without ever having to solo it again. I can EQ it more easily because I understand the characteristics of it. So, little tips for you straight out the gate. Anyway, I have given myself some added challenges tonight in that I didn't mix the vocals, so this is almost a mix from scratch. And but I figure, you know, what do I got to lose? It's my show. So I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock. I'm going to turn the frickin' volume up in here. And hopefully it's going to be thumping out there. If it ain't loud enough, guys, tell me. Here, let's get let's get this going. Boom. That's just to make sure that it's loud enough for broadcast. I'll probably back that off before finishing. All right, this is Radiolarian's Evacuation. Where is Sprint Mixing? Boom. We're back? What do you mean we're back? We're back with what?
Sorry, hungry.
For lack of being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How? Complicate that. like a being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? One thing about me, you'll see. For like a being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? One thing about for like a being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? For like a being pure. One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated, break out and flush away. One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated, break out and flush away. One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated, break out and
What do you see of this?
no one at all. Being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. Don't love no one at all. Only infatuation. 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 I speak my peace, no name. 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 Don't love no one at all. Only no one at all. Only wish when home for like a being pure. I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated, break out infatuation. 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 One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. Break out infatuation. Evacuation! Evacuation! Break out evacuation! 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 Break out evacuation! Evacuation! Break out evacuation! Don't love no one at all. My only wish is going home. For like a being pure, I made the worst mistake of all. How could you? How could you? How could you? How? One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated. Break out evacuation! 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 Break out evacuation! 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 I speak my peace, no need! Evacuation! I speak my peace, no need! Evacuation!
Woo! Oh my God. Well, that is Radio Larian's Evacuation. Should we release that? Should we keep it just for sync pitching? You guys tell us. Drop us a comment and let us know. On the chat roll, man, that is popping. Tarsia, Renee, Nolan, Dynasty on the Mix, Chaser AK, Mighty Maid, Ben Ellery, good to see you, bro. Sylvana, oh my God, now it's blowing up. I can't even keep up. So, Torius, who else? Sam Heights, my friend. How are you, dude? How's Texas? Just Gemini, Josh S. Good to see you, Josh S. Bill Dwyer. Bill Dwyer's got a Soundcraft group. So if you own a Soundcraft, go tap into his group. Let's see. Bobby Thimgen. He is a fucking slayer of dragons on the beat contest we used to have. We got to get back to those, man. I'm sorry, people. It's been a lot. I've been through a lot. Donnie Larrabee. Good to see you. Really PS3. Slang MVP. Man, you got Josh Gannett. Hey, Josh. How are you, dude? Man, the chat roll is super popping tonight. Like I alluded to on the intro, in the good news of the entire month, there is so much of it. Some of it I can't talk about yet, but I won a Grammy on Sunday. Oh my God. So I have been, I was not an official nominee. I am on the mix team of Hell's Kitchen cast album, which won a Grammy. And if you are a mixer or producer or songwriter, or featured artist on more than half of an album that wins a Grammy in your role, you get a statue too. So I got my second statue out of 9 tries for a statue. My first one was last year for Album of the Year, Taylor Swift Midnights. So this one is Hell's Kitchen, Alicia Keys, Ann Mincelli. Thank you so much. It's Mincielli. I always pronounce your name wrong. Ann Mincelli, Alicia Keys. They are, first off, those are the 2 queens of New York. They own the place. And Ann's got the best studio in town over at Jungle City. And, you know, I've been working off and on for Alicia and Ann since 2010, Girl on Fire. And wow, it's amazing the music that I've gotten to tap into with them. And they're old school record makers. It's really incredible. They do it right. They have such deep knowledge of everything and everybody. It's impressive. But there was something else I wanted to mention about that. Oh yeah, and Nolan and Jonathan are Grammy participating winners. Whoop whoop whoop. So the difference between a official Grammy winner and a participating Grammy winner is everybody credited on a song or album that wins is a a song or album that is nominated is a Grammy participant. Assistant, guitar player, shaker, whoever, you're a Grammy participant, and you can get a plaque for the nomination, and if it wins, you can get a plaque for the nomination. You won't only get a statue if you are nominated by name, which I have been 8 times, or if you do more than 51% of one roll on an entire album, which I did on Hell's Kitchen. Same with big shout out to Nicole Zuraitis and Dan Pugach for Bianca Reimagined. Nicole's a producer on it. She won her 2nd Grammy Award, and she is doing a segment for us tonight. Man, actually, she's doing a segment in like 10 seconds. Not quite, guys. But huge congrats to Nicole and Dan. And also, they are just the coolest people in the world. They play a big role in rescuing dogs and things like that, and that is near and dear to Lori and I's hearts. We have done a ton of dog fostering. We fostered over 12 greyhounds and about a half dozen other breeds as well. And Mazzy came in as a foster, and we decided to keep her right before the pandemic. Best decision ever. Anyway, huge congrats to Alicia Keys and Ann Mencielli. The first time I got to work with Ann is Axis Studios 1995. Is that 30 years ago? That's 30 years ago. You guys take care of and cherish the people that you rise with, because those might be the same people that you see off and on for the rest of your career, and either they're going to respect you or they're going to remember you. Don't make them remember you. Make them remember you. Make them want to call you. Who else we got on the chat? Man, a whole bunch of new faces. This is awesome. Prosperity. This is Torch. Torch, did you see the sprint mix, buddy? I don't know if I told you I was going to sprint that. I guess I should have. Anyway, it was Evacuation, in case you missed it. Fucking smash that one is. Well, we'll see what you guys think of. Awesome. Sigrulion Derek. I don't know how to pronounce your Silverano. Cooper Anderson. Oh, man. Coops. Coop has a diamond record for his work with me on We Are Young. And Grammy nomination, I believe. He's beast mode over there.
Also doing a giveaway.
Oh, nice. And Coop's doing a giveaway. Or are you guys doing a giveaway? Chris D, Spice Productions. Okay, I'm going to stop shouting people out, and let's roll Nicole Zuraitis, double Grammy winner as of Sunday, got her 2nd one. She is dropping some truly great knowledge on you guys. Pay attention.
So when I won the Grammy last year, that was a surprise, but it also was very intentional. And what do I mean by that? Hey everybody, it's Nicole Zuraitis, and I am so excited to be here with Ken and friends as we talk about the different ways that we can be musicians, independent artists, and make it in the music industry. Like, what even is making it, right? For me, it's always been about how do I support myself as an artist, and how do I have my own unique voice rise above the noise. And the noise is constant. So for me, what really changed my life was when I realized that the only person who cares about me is me. I spent so much of my career hoping that somebody else was going to open a door for me by leaning into people that were saying that they were managers, or that they were, you know, I'm gonna make your career, sister. You're gonna be a big star. The minute I put any sort of credibility into those people is when nothing happened. And also, if you have no goals, you're not working towards anything. I started off in music in the ladder system. I immediately thought, when I moved to New York City, well, I don't come from generational wealth. I don't have a lot of money, so how do I save money? So I saved money, I shared a room in Queens, and I started being a hostess. But then my ladder theory is, what's my next goal? What's the next step in the ladder that I'm going to take so that I'm going towards these goals? So the next one was like, how do I get a gig? How do I pay my rent with music? The ladder theory really helped me because I was able to tangibly see that things were changing for me as an independent artist, right? Once I got the gig and once I was supporting myself going through the music, I was like, where do I want to play? So I would look at what other people were doing and I would go to those clubs. And you have to go to those clubs. You can't just be like, no one's responding to me. No, they're not responding to you. You have to go and meet the people. The music industry is all networking. It's all that. I think for me, saying that I had goals is such a strange, almost like audacious thing for me to admit to you, because for the first 15 years of my independent music career, I didn't have any tangible goals because they are scary. Because when you have a goal, it means that you can not achieve it, right? Once I finally established myself as an independent artist and I actually put some goals on the table, I was like, hey, at least I'm shooting for something. And now my ladder theory is not just how do I pay my rent, like a survival scarcity mindset. It was more like, how do I move up into like a more of an abundance mindset? So when I won the Grammy last year, that was a surprise, but it also was very intentional. And what do I mean by that? It means that when I wrote the music, I had the goal in mind. When I put together the personnel, I had the goal in mind. When I was raising funds, grassroots funding this record, I had goals in mind. When I got the constant no, which is all I ever got, when I was looking for a label, a manager, a booking agent, all that stuff, I would get, you're a developing artist, blah, 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 blah. I was like, nope. My goal is make an album that's going to change my life. That's it. Set tangible, time-sensitive goals for yourself. And if you don't reach those goals, at least you have no regrets.
Congrats again, Nicole and Dan. Amazing. We were watching, we were all tuning in on the Grammy live stream when you guys won. Super fantastic. And again, your guys' work with dogs is just remarkable. Well done as human beings. So let's see. I got a question from Silvano Cortazar. He asks, hey Ken, what tuning are the guitars in? Actually, Silvano, I don't know. The guy that did this track is Torch, and he is on the chat roll right now. So this is the beauty of mixing night. Hey, this is Torch. What tuning are those guitars in? So when I did, let me show you guys some nerd shit. What I did with this low guitar, if you guys don't understand what I was doing in the moment, I'm just going to do it again from scratch. So I'm going to delete this one just so I have one. Here's the electric guitar. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to highlight the duplicated track and go under Audio Suite, Pitch, and Serato Pitch and Time Pro. And I am down tuning it 1 octave, 12 semitones is 1 octave. And I'm keeping it set to harmonic because it's not drums and it's not vocals. So harmonic, and anytime these things have a like good, better, best setting, always go with the best and just, you know, get a coffee. Analyze and render. And then if I was finishing this record, I would be using that low octave. Here's the end result of that pitch down. And the other thing I usually do when I do this kind of thing is I counterpan the pitched down. So the main electric guitar is here, the pitched down guitar is here. Just so I, you know, any bit of phase cancellation that might be left from the main to the pitch down, which especially happens with vocals and pitch down formatting on vocals, when you have it rubbing against the lead vocal or like the dry vocal. You know, sometimes you have those problems. So counterpanning the pitch down can sometimes solve all of those problems and just make it more musical and sit better in stereo. And then, well, let's just see how this sounds.
Don't love no one at all. My only wish is go
Do you hear how heavy that shit is? As soon as I take that away, it's just like, it's all of a sudden, it's like, whoa. And before, it was totally cool with just the thin guitar. So what I'm going to end up doing is go back and figure out how do I want to use this pitch down guitar in the arrangement layered in sometimes, and by itself sometimes, and muted sometimes. And then I'll start using these techniques to build into the arrangement and make the arrangement more interesting over the course of it. And that also gives music supervisors and music editors more to cut to. So if, you know, your verse 1 is a little more sparse, but your verse 2 is really cooking and, you know, super heavy, or maybe the hooks, you know, this hook you have it muted, but this hook it's wide open. You know, something like that, where you're building your arrangement with these adding ideas. I do stuff like this all the time. If anybody else has got any other questions, fire away. Dylan says, this is Torch. I have those drums now stuck in my brain. They are amazing. Dylan, I totally agree with you. And Sam Height says, I'm sampling the kick from the stream on, it's the next level. Dude, I agree. I've already added it to my kick collection. I mean, what? No, I didn't, Torch. I didn't take, no. It's all in the same family. But yeah, Torch. So for everybody that doesn't know, Torch is an alum of this show. I met Torch because he kept entering beat contests and was like fucking amazing the shit he was throwing down. And I always have my ears kind of perked up for great talent, and he kept being great talent. So one day I was like, bro, we should try to collaborate on some shit. And you know, you just never know. You never know. So I was lucky enough to get to work with him because that dude's drums have leveled us up, and Radiolarians are a really fire project. Definitely in part to This Is Torch. So Kardec Drums, good to see ya. Who else is on here tonight? Ben Ellery, Wavy Wayne. Are the seals tapping in, Wavy? I hope so. I'm talking to Wavy in like 15 minutes. We got Wavy tapping in live up on the wall. Let's see. What else can I show you guys? Why don't we go... So I know Dom Rinius' piece is much later in the show, but I'm going to go to it right now and set up for Wavy Wayne. So Dom Rinius is one of the founders of Mixing Night, along with me and Lori. And Dom, it was over from Germany during the pandemic, just for a short business trip. Ended up getting stuck in America, stayed with us for 3 months. We had all this gear and all this time, and so we started a live stream. And that started as Q&A with Ken, and it evolved into Mixing Night, I think we are on our 92nd or 93rd full show. This is the end of our 5th year, and we enter our 6th year on our March broadcast. It's been the crazy ride we didn't know we needed. You guys have been amazing. This community is just so exceptional. You guys are the reason that we keep doing this show. And thank you all for being such... just a great community, and helping each other and supporting each other and tapping in with each other and growing together. I've seen so many people blossom creatively and musically from this community. Sam Champagne, Rory Miller, it's just been amazing. So if you're new to the community, tap in, man. There is some great energy here, and do not bring bad energy around my community. They are a great bunch of people. Okay, I'm going to go to Dom Rinius, who co-founded Mixing Night. He had 0 K-pop credits when we started the show. Now, my man is racking up hit K-pop single after hit K-pop single after hit, not just like album cut. He's not even getting album cuts. He's getting straight up first singles. He is so gifted, and we are so lucky to have some advice from him. Please pay attention, because this is really the sauce cheat code. And for the people that follow this, it's really going to help you level up. And here is Dom Rinius, K-pop producer.
What's up, Mixing Night community? This is Dom Rinius coming to you from Hamburg, Germany. And today we're talking about the music industry. I want to give you my number one most important tip that has made the most difference in my career and in my life, frankly. And it's also the number one thing that most people get wrong. So if you're a producer, songwriter, artist, mixing engineer, it really goes for everybody in this industry. Here is your number one tip that I can give you. If you want to play a game, you have to know who the players are. So what do I mean by that? Well, for me, building my career in the K-pop industry as a producer, it's super important to know who the other producers are, who the top liners are, who write the lyrics and the melodies. It's super important to know who the labels are and who the A&Rs working at the labels are, because those people select the songs that will be cut by the groups. In other words, if they take my song or not. And that goes for everybody. Like, depending on what you want to do, it's always different people, but you have to know who those people are. And practically how you do that is, I have a Google Sheet with all the contacts that I'm constantly updating and researching new people, with all the people that are important to me, other producers in my industry, other songwriters in my industry, label executives in my industry, managers. So if you want to be an artist, for example, and you want a label deal at Atlantic Records, your number one task is researching who works at Atlantic Records, who are the Atlantic Records A&Rs, who are other artists who are signed to Atlantic Records, maybe on your level. So there is kind of a way that you could get in touch with them. You have to have that database, and nobody wants to talk about that because it's just grind work, and you have to do that, and it's not creative at all, but it's the foundation to build your career and frankly a career in this business in whatever role. So if you don't do that, you have a giant disadvantage against the people who do. And on the flip side, if you do it, there is not many other people who do the same, so you have a giant advantage over those. I can only encourage you, build your database, know who the players are, so that then you can become one of them.
Yes.
You are back.
We are back. I hope you guys were paying attention. That was some real sauce. And anybody who follows that is probably going to navigate much better. Let's see. I'm just, I moved the chat roll over here, so I want to see who else. Unbreakable. Hey, dude. How are you? I haven't seen you in ages.
3 on the A10.
We have stray things happening in the core room. Kev J, good to see you. Lex, I don't see you. Let's see. Does anybody hear Mazzy chomping away? She's not barking her head off tonight because we got her like a super, super tasty bone, and she's going to Bone Town. So, what else did I want to show you guys? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff I'm using ALLCOMP with, because, okay, let me just let you hear it, and then I will break it down.
One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my piece, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated. One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my piece, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated. One thing about me. One thing about me.
Okay, so one of the big keys here, I'm using, this is my vocal chain. When this is all the way down, you're still compressing. It's just a lighter compression and a slightly slower attack. And then as you push into the dial, it gets a little bit more aggressive. But oxidate, which is reverb, I'm putting on pre, and that moves the reverb to before this chain. So I'm pushing reverb into the compression with the vocal. And what happens is, when the vocal is going, it pushes the reverb back a little bit. But when the vocal stops, that reverb explodes forward more. And then I'm mashing it with the out limiter to give it even a little bit more explosion. And just listen to how it's so much wetter at the ends of the words than the raps.
One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my piece, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated,
Hear that? And it's just like it sits right behind it. You can gauge how much you want it behind or ahead. Here, let me just drown it.
One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated. Hands up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated. One thing about me, you'll see, I be there aggravated. I speak my peace, no need, don't make it complicated.
I love that technique. So yeah, a lot of times I'm using oxidate pre instead of post, and it gives me like more aggression and explosion as the reverb releases, which I find sometimes a really cool characteristic. I've actually been reaching for it a lot, especially on secondary vocals that I just want like to sit behind the lead and pump a little bit. Let's see, are we ready for Wavy Wayne? All right, I gotta let Jonathan take over here for a second so we can tap in Wavy. 1 second.
Aiden, can you please press number 1 on the thing so we can't see the screen?
There's Wavy Wayne. He is on my wall.
Mr. Wayne. Oh, we are live in the flesh, in the pixel.
Okay, we got Wavy Wayne.
Alrighty, test. Wonderful, wonderful. And can you let me in, please, sir?
Yes, I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Lewis.
Okay. Ken, we on.
Wavy Wayne.
Oh man, you've been rocking out, man. You've been rocking out. That's Sprint mix and everything that y'all been doing tonight so far has been amazing. You know.
Thank you. Oh, dude, I'm so excited about my new group. Those are just 3 killers that I get to make music with. It's so much fun. I just had I know Fash up here for a few days making music together, and that was one of them. So.
Yo, man, look, I love that. Congratulations on the Grammy as well, man, to the whole team. Like that's super huge, man. And you know, I know you brought me here to talk about some stuff, but I think you embody like one of the main parts, man. Like being successful in this industry, like you literally are having so much fun, and we can see that on YouTube. We feel that. And that is why you are Ken Lewis. You know what I mean? That's why you're him.
You know, that's really funny. I think there's a ton of validity to that in that I look like I have this insane credit list and resume, and I do. But if I was in LA right now, I cannot express to you guys how much I would be wrecking shit. And I am very content to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, making enough money to live and be comfortable, and whatever major label projects come my way, they come my way. But if I was in the heart of it, I would be in the heart of it. Yeah. And so, but I made the conscious decision to take less money and fewer credits for more happiness. And I've done that time and time in my career, and rarely have I been unhappy about it in the long run.
I mean, the industry is a dog fight. You know, and like you said, if you in LA, New York, and it's a constant race, a constant chase. And you know, look, I can see, look, your eye, you ain't got those industry bags under your eyes, man. You're looking good. You got, you know, that's that industry look, man. We
trying to stay healthy. It's hard out here, man.
I ain't gonna say no names, man, but like out in NAMM, like the cats that's like active, I'm like, dang, man, you've been working.
We see those circles. I used to have those circles under my eyes daily. Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's a big thing that I learned after I almost died of a completely closed main heart artery was sleep deprivation is not the badge of honor that I took it for as I was coming up.
Yeah.
And it nearly killed me.
Listen, man, I'm on you with that. And I think that, maybe we partner up and get some type of music industry fitness group going on too, man. Like, look, I would love that. We have a little.
So down for that, man. So many people need that. Just that little extra motivation of like, fuck, they're doing it again. All right, where are my shoes? Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, we got to do it. Man,
yo,
like the Recording Academy 5K or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing that I don't know. Maybe we might be brewing something up right now.
The chat roll, drop us comments on YouTube and let us know what we should be using our superpowers for.
Let's go. Let us know, man. The industry bags.
I actually love that idea. I know so many people who would tap in with us and do that, who are just like, man, I just need like the motivation and my motivation is right behind me. If this girl wasn't begging for a walk every day, I would not be exercising anywhere near as much as I am. It's just that extra pull.
Man, I'm hearing that. I'm getting an echo. Let me make sure I don't have a double up or something. I'm just seeing it on the chat. But some just because sometimes I'm doing the Zoom and it.
A lot of that bone.
Let's see. Is it still getting echo, y'all, in the chat? 'Cause I don't want to add that echo. So I put these headphones on. Check. I guess we're good. It might have been earlier before I put the headphones
fixed.
on.
They say echo is fixed.
All right, bet. Yeah, I think it was the headphones. But yeah, man, sweet. So where you want to start today?
Well, I think you are a lot like me in that we both came up starting as tracking engineers, and we used our tracking engineer superpowers to introduce our other skill sets and grow our credits and our job skills and the way that we monetize our careers. You have monetized your career in a lot of really unique ways that I've only seen you do. So I want to talk. I just want a little bit about your story, about kind of how you got to that place and some of your navigational advice, maybe.
Absolutely, man. So, a lot of people probably know me from being on YouTube. I put my first YouTube video up in 2017, and, it's been a blessed ride since then. But my teaching journey and educational journey started before that. And it kind of started because I always just try to pivot with whatever the industry is going. So I started interning at Quad Studios, and I was a freelance engineer working in New York. And I noticed a shift in the industry. I got into Quad like 2009. So like around that time, 2009, 2010, a lot of big studios, and kind of the years right before that, early 2000s, a lot of the big studios were starting to shut down. There was a big push going toward home studio recording. So I teamed up with my man, Ben Arundel, who's a super dope engineer. I don't know if you know
Dude,
Ben
I came up with Ben. He and I were at SoundCheck together in 1993 to 95.
Exactly, man.
Love Ben.
Love Ben. He had a studio that I used to freelance out of too. Man, what was the name of that studio? I forget the name of his studio, but him and Mac, where they had a studio. And so I would be recording there. And basically what we did was we started a class, like a workshop. And this was early 2000s, man. We started a workshop to teach it. So my whole principle was like, look, if you're going to do it yourself, here's how. So I had a lot of clients that were starting to invest in their home studios, and that literally was the spark of it. So early then we were like Saturday mornings in the studio, we would get like 15 people, 10, 15 people, and just sit around in the studio, and we teach them recording techniques that we knew that they would go back home with. So that just speaks to me as kind of pivoting in the industry, right? No matter what, like if you stuck in your ways or stuck to a specific method of doing something, I think that can be like a hindrance to you and kind of hold you back and slow you down. So for me, I've always been on the pivot on like where's the industry going? What are the needs? What are the voids in the industry? And how can I fill those? So it started off with those master classes kind of thing we were doing in the studio. It also led into me doing an after school program for some high school kids called Hip Hop Jobs, where I would literally just go in there and bring all the friends I had made in the industries, from producers, label execs, cameraman, managers, A&Rs, and I would just bring them with me to the after school program and show the students the other side of being a rapper, right? So I was working with a lot of rappers where I'm like, look, you can come in here and do something else. You can be cool. You can have this whole whatever it is, man. Because look, as me, I always wanted to be the engineer that pull up in a Lambo, and then people not really sure, like, dang, is that a rapper? Like, no, I'm just the engineer, So that was my goal, and I kind of roll like that nowadays as I try to highlight other engineers and put the spotlight on them through my channel and platform that we built up, man. So pivoting obviously has been a big part of the journey for me. And then from there, getting on YouTube, like I just kind of fast forward some years, I was actually teaching at a college, and I had moved back home to my own hometown, right? For a lot of the reasons that you might be in your hometown now, I had moved back to my hometown of St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis. Anybody from St. Louis? I know Tarcia Renee from St. Louis. She big in the chat. So I moved back and started teaching at a college. And from there, I decided to put my lessons up on YouTube one day because my students would like come to class late or miss class. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this lesson and put it on YouTube and then just send them the link, because I had to contact the students after they miss and then like walk them through. They might have to meet me at office hours. So I'm like, look, I'm going to save everybody some time. I'm going to record this video. I'm going to send them the link, and boom, that's literally how the YouTube channel started. That's literally, I was definitely
that's brilliant.
Inspired by like Pensado and stuff like that, but that's how the YouTube channel started. And at that point, I was speaking to my students, right? But I also learned that anybody could take the same formula and talk to their audience or talk to their customers. And what I mean by that is like, yes, we've leveraged social media to do a lot of things in the space. And I don't care if your goal isn't to be a YouTuber or a social media influencer, like that's cool. But if you have a studio, if you have clients, you can leverage that social media to talk to them. Right now, I educate audio engineers, so I make a lot of audio engineering educational content. Right. And I recommend to studio owners or if you're just engineering and trying to get your clientele up, one, you can be educating the artist, right? Proper microphone techniques. Like if you're going to record at home by yourself, here's how you do it. Vocal production techniques, right? So now your potential customers are getting value from you before they ever spend $1 with you. And that also builds your credibility.
Very smart.
It just builds so much trust. And that's a great way to kind of bridge. So that's a huge recommendation for me, is like anybody, like we all have social media to our advantage, but you don't have to get on YouTube and Instagram and do what I'm doing per se, because you may not be another engineer might not be your client, right? It might be an artist, it might be a producer, it might be another engineer, but make the content that's going to help your potential customer.
That's super smart advice. Really, really. I never even crossed my mind to do that, but for like studio owners or like creative people who are looking to be hired, put a little bit of your knowledge out there so people know. I mean,
and I feel and sharing doesn't hurt. Like even like I will literally like, I know a lot of y'all probably have bought my templates, my recording and mixing templates that I make. I literally make those for artists, with artists in mind. I always think about like my wife, right? Lydia, she's her own, it's like she's a whole machine, right? So what I want to do when I'm thinking of courses and products and stuff is I want something that she can use and leave me alone, right? For the most part, like, look, I'm busy too. Is you busy? So like, if I can create something that she can use like a template to where she hit record and it automatically sounds like something that she wants, got some reverbs and delays and compression or whatever, then that's, who I'm aiming towards. Then she uses that to do her backwards reverse engineering and learn down the road, right? So that was a big thing. But I say that to say is that sharing that education, I have videos online. I will make a template, show you through the video exactly how I make the template, and people will still go and buy the template, right? Because so there's some people who want to do it themselves, and there's some people who just want it done for them. And no matter what, I think both of those people are valid and they're out there. So you don't lose anything
I also
by
think
sharing
it's
your
a
knowledge.
trust factor. And if
Ye-
they start to understand that they trust that the knowledge that you give them is accurate and valuable,
Yeah.
then that's an easy purchase for somebody to usually make, to go like, oh, they also have this? Yes, please.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a great model.
Yeah.
We are running short on time. I have a
Yep.
packed show, but do you have
Yes.
any other gems to drop for our viewers? Because, man,
Yeah.
you have been dropping them.
Yo, so look, y'all, just think about whatever it is that you're doing and everything that go along with that. Like, have a holistic approach to your business. If you're running a business as an engineer, freelancer, studio owner, artist, think about a holistic approach, meaning who is your customer, right? If it's an artist, do they need help learning how to record? Do they need videos? Do they need help having better stage presence? Whatever it is, do they need car insurance? Who knows what it is, right? Think about the whole person, and that will help you to open up the streams of income that can like really help to take your business and career to the next level.
That is super, super valuable advice. Wavy Wayne,
Yo,
thank you
Ken,
very
thank you.
much. And big shout outs to the Wavy Seals Elites, who
Yes.
a bunch of them are tapping in on the chat roll tonight. You guys need to have me back there dropping some knowledge on those folks sometime again soon.
Anytime.
Yeah, I would love to tap back in with them. I really like what you're doing over there with the educational programs. And, you know, that stuff is near and dear to my heart when smart, talented, creative people give back and level other people up. And you certainly do that. So thank you very much, Wavy Wayne. How can people find you if they don't know you yet?
Yo, just one thing, y'all. Thank you, Ken, for this right now. But everything that I got going on with Mixnick, a live audio engineering event happening in Atlanta, the Wavy Seals Elite, literally a community for audio engineers. I know a lot of y'all watching this on YouTube. You may not have friends that are engineers. The Wavy Seals Elite gives you that community. It gives you friends that are engineers so they can sharpen you. You know, iron sharpen iron. So wavyproaudio.com. And if you ain't know yet, wavyproaudio.com is the leading source for all studio equipment, microphones, software, headphones, whatever you need. Shop wavyproaudio.com. You know, we're gonna get you the best deal, and you get to learn some in the process too. So thank you, Ken. Make sure y'all hit up wavyproaudio.com, and I'll see you at Mixnick.
Wavy Wayne, thank you again so much. I will see you soon, and thank you for leveling up our community. We really appreciate it, man.
Right on.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Ken.
night. All righty. Bye-bye. Am I just back to the program, guys?
We're going to run Coburn.
Let me set it up real quick. So, next up, I am going to play you Aaron Coburn's 5 best indie artist tips. Check her out at Coburn Official. Coburn Official. This girl is going to be a star. She already has the mentality for it. She already has the grind for it. We are making her record right now. Don't forget that I told you so. I hope next month to be able to play you one of the songs that we're working on. She went to the UK and worked with George Lever and James Sanger on all of the music for her project. Brilliant producers, and she and them just cooked up some fire. And then Coburn brought back the project to me, and we've been writing the songs to it together. And she's written a couple on her own. We just finished one of those. Getting close to the finish line. We're tweaking now. But Aaron is the real deal in so many ways. She's an incredible guitar player, incredible vocalist, incredible writer. Her artist package is just the whole thing, and her social media presence is so connective because she is so real to herself and true to herself. And let her give you some tips now. And follow her at Coburn Official.
Hi Mixing Night, it's Coburn. I want to share with you the top 5 things that I've learned as an indie artist. Let's get into it. Number 1, I've learned that it pays off and it's a lot easier to be yourself than trying to be another artist. For example, I started posting short covers of songs that I really like on my Instagram. And it wasn't too long ago when I was like, I will not post covers on my social media. However, I have realized that posting these covers can work to my advantage, especially when I'm doing them in my style versus trying to do them exactly like the original artist. By doing it this way, I feel like I've been able to introduce my audience to my new sound before it's even released. I have new music releasing, by the way, but it's not out yet. So this allows me to build that hype and expectation for the new sound of the new music. 2, it's a bit of a simple one, but I think it's really important. Enjoy the process. It's really easy to go, I have to make content. I have to do these stupid videos and skits and things. But if I change the way I'm talking about it or how I view what I need to do, for example, instead of saying all of that, I could say, I get to share my music in creative ways with people I've never met. How cool is that? Now this point leads me to my third point. They kind of tie in together. Batch your content. If there's a day where you sit down and you just have no inspiration to write music or make videos, then that's probably a sign you need to take a step back. And taking a step back doesn't have to mean for a month or 2 months or a year. It could literally be 5 minutes. Go for a walk. When you have those days where you just don't feel inspired to create, it's important to make sure that you have media and content stored up. I find works really well is taking a day where I can just soak in a bunch of inspiration. So maybe I'll go do my favorite things. I'll have a full glass of matcha. I'll go swing on a swing set. I'll go for a walk with my dog. I'll do things that will inspire me. I'll watch some of my favorite movies or I'll watch clips from my favorite movies. So the next day you wake up and you should have some built up inspiration that you can use for batching that content, making those songs, whatever you need to do. It's also good to have like a notebook or use Notion or some kind of note-taking app where if you get ideas for content, you can just write them down. I do that a lot. And then when that day comes around to batch film, I have all the ideas ready for. Build a support network. Just because you're an indie artist doesn't mean that you have to do everything alone. I've noticed how big of a difference having a team makes. And a team doesn't have to be like manager, producer, engineer. It doesn't have to be like a whole bunch of people that, you know, maybe you can't afford right now as an indie artist. It could literally be a best friend. Someone that's gonna be there for you when you aren't advocating for your own voice in your creative space. As an artist, we all know it's really easy to put ourselves down, put our art down, and kind of get so in the middle of what you're doing that you can't see the bigger picture. My final point, number 5, read. Read. I have been reading a lot more lately, and most of the books I'm reading don't have anything to do with music. They're not music books. Some of them might be, but the majority aren't. They're like psychology books, business books, fantasy books, poetry books. As an indie artist, you are running a business. So business books, especially ones that are talking about running your own business, can be handy when it comes time for you to market your own music to your audience. With marketing, it's really easy if you have a team of people that don't know you that well. Now let me tell you one more thing that a lot of people that I look up to in the industry have told me. There's no one way to make it as an indie artist. So you might be the next indie artist to find a completely new avenue to have a successful career. I want to thank Ken and Mixing Night for having me on to share these tips with you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your stream.
We are back. Coburn, thank you so much. Coburn, if you're out there, we really need to play this community some music next broadcast. And eventually, when Coburn's album is done, I'm going to have her on the show, and I'm going to have her perform a song or two for you guys and have like an indie artist night. So she has an incredible amount of indie artist experience touring. She's been touring since she was like 11 or 12 years old. No joke. Hey, you. And she's made a lot of records now. She's got a lot of artist experience that you guys can tap into. That's going to be a future show. Other future shows, next month I think we're going to do Mix Bus Night. So, we're going to put you all on the mix bus and drive you to the next show. And then I believe the next show in April is going to be Hardware Night. So if any of you guys use hardware or don't use hardware and wonder if there's a way that you can bring hardware into your workflow, I am going to show you how, because my brain just melted. I just ordered the Wolf Pro patch, and I'm waiting on a couple things for it, but I'll have it by April. And this thing is like, I come from old school console days. So if I needed to patch outboard, I just go over to my console or my patch bay with the TT cables, the Bantam cables, and I patched in my outboard, and that's what it was, and that's what I got. But with this Pro Patch, it's like instantaneous, and you can have like preset chains of outboard. Like you can go, SoundCheck, Thermionic, Kush, or you can try, with a switch of a button, you can swap out the Thermionic for the GML. And, you can A, B, C different chains against each other in different orders, and it's seamless, and it's fast, and it's mind-blowing. So April is that show. Y'all need to tune in for that. March is Mixbus night. I think June is going to be Studio Tours night. So if you know somebody who has an awesome studio that would love to do a studio walkthrough for us, lay down, bitch. Come on. Lay down. I got you that. Come on. You just, then tell them we want their studio tour for a studio tour night in June. How are we doing on time? Now, Mazzy, okay, we're supposed to do, okay, we're doing good on time. Man, who frickin' knew? We might actually pack this whole show in. Hey now. Chris D asks, hey Ken, I have a question for the ALLCOMP plugin. Do you think it's possible to have a cut filter or a gain volume to the oxidate reverberation? Yes, that's exactly what the thing is. Let me show you. So the oxidate I put pre, so that's feeding it before the compressor. If I put it post, then the vocal gets compressed, and then the compressed vocal gets fed into the reverb. Listen, woman. Be nice. Come here. And so it just depends on if you want your reverb to be like pumping and really noticeable, which can be a super cool effect. And if you want more of that effect, you just do that. And if you want less, you just do that. And then if you want it post like a normal reverb, it would be like this. So, and if you want Mazzy to shut the fuck up, you gotta give her a treat because she's about to be kicked out. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. And maybe I can just show you again real quick while I'm doing it so you hear it again for reference.
One thing about me, you'll see, I be very aggravated. I speak my piece, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated.
Listen to how it pumps in pre and just reverberates in post.
One thing about me, you'll see, I be very aggravated. I speak my piece, no need, don't make it complicated. Heads up, decapitated, attitude activated, tattoos incarcerated.
See, it's like a really, really cool, aggressive effect, and it's really noticeable. So for me, especially on a song like this, it works so well. Because usually I don't think of a reverb as something that adds energy to something. It's more of something that I use to put in a space. But this reverb, the way it really pumps through that compression chain, and then the end limiter is really, really kind of a special effect to me. So there you have it. There's another tip. Fire away with the questions. Anybody that has any for Mazakeen, she's ready to answer now. Soundtrack loops on the chat roll. What's up to fingers on the beat on the chat roll? Shadiq TV, Josh S. What's good, man? Buck Toofus, man. There's a whole bunch of people I haven't seen before. Derek McTetion? I'm going to go with McTetion. Sam Heights. Man, me and Sam Heights have known each other forever. We've written at least one of my very, very favorite songs together that I really, really, really hope someday sees the light of day because, my God. And the night that we cut the vocals on that song, Sam was in complete couch lock on my edibles. And I had like triple the dose that he had, but my tolerance is crazy fucking high. I use medical and need it. But he was just couch locked. But we wrote the most amazing song together, and the most amazing female artist sang it, and maybe it'll see the light of day sometime, I hope. Man, I can't wait until I can tell you some of my other great news. Oh, there's so much good shit happening right now. I am very excited this year. Hey, you. I am not very excited for your yapping. Lay down. Lay down. Be nice. Be nice. Studio Rat 67, I feel that. Minty Swirl, man, the chat roll is popping tonight. Drop us some comments on future shows that you guys would like to see on the comments on the YouTube. And also, I think I keep forgetting to tell you guys, we're giving away 2 copies of Transit 2 from Andrew Huang and Baby Audio tonight. And I think we've already given one away. And we're giving away a Session Studio NFR for a year. And we might be giving away something else. So it's in the description of the video that you are watching right now. Go enter to win. You do not need to be live to win, but you need to be live to enter. And because if you're catching the restream, I'm sorry, snooze, lose. I'm always trying to... quite frankly, get great, awesome stuff to give away live during broadcast so that I'm not sitting here alone. But man, it's insane all the people tapping in tonight. We have like, I don't know, a lot of fucking people. I think we were peaking out at like 120, 130 concurrents, which is pretty good old numbers, like olden days numbers for us, like pandemic numbers. We used to do that regular. And better. And we're getting back to those numbers. We are bringing you guys such fire shows this year. You have no idea. It's on this year, as you can see. Now, my dog doesn't think the shows are quite fire enough, but she'll come around. She'll come around. Aunt Sally asks, "Hey Ken, I want to be a full-time songwriter. How do I do that?" Okay. Well, my main suggestion would be move to Los Angeles or Nashville and start co-writing with anybody with any placements of any kind as often as you can. And the more you get into rooms, the better people you'll get into rooms with. The way that I became what I consider an excellent top liner. Top liner is lyric, melody, words. The way I became what I consider an excellent top liner is I got in rooms with people that I thought were better than me, and I tried to keep up. And I kept doing that, and then I started keeping up. And then I started getting in rooms with better people, and next thing you know, I was writing with people who were writing the frickin' hits. And every time I was in a room with a new songwriter, I learned new techniques and new methods and new thought processes, and I grew my network. And if you want to just write a song and be famous, you are not cut out for this business. That is not how this shit goes. If you want to be a songwriter, you must be a songwriter every friggin' day. That's got to be your life. You got to want it more than everybody else wants it, because there's not much money in it unless you write a big hit. And that is very hard to do and usually takes a long time. I saw a songwriting night down in Cincinnati with a bunch of Nashville songwriters, 4 Nashville writers who all had number ones. The shortest any of them had spent in Nashville before their number one was 5 years. The longest was 10. The average was 7. And it ain't easy, but you can do it. I did it. I'm doing it. Ray asks, "Hey Ken, what's usually your main verse vocal chain that I go to for plugins or microphone?" Microphone, it's always the Sony C800G. For verses, I built ALLCOMP. ALLCOMP is my plugin. Mixing Night Audio. Me and Dominic and Lori cooked that thing up, but it's mostly my chains under the hood that me and Dominic refined. And it's a beast. If you open any of my sessions from the last year, you're going to see ALLCOMP all over my vocals on every session. It is so fast and easy and musical to dial in the mood that you want and quickly try other moods. It is the cheat code. I built it for you guys. I made it so simple but so powerful. It's on sale right now because we just hit 15,000 YouTube subscribers and 5,000 Instagram. I think we just put ALLCOMP back on sale for super cheap. So go get it if you haven't. Just try the trial. One day you'll know, is this for me or not? And there's a secret LOLCOMP in there too for the people who have a sense of humor, which is me. Let's see, I gotta move to something else. I am gonna go to Dylan Wissing. Dylan Wissing is going to break down studio insurance claims for you, which is very timely with the LA fires right now. I have always carried studio insurance on all of my gear at replacement cost. And Dylan has been through 2 hurricanes and other problems. He's lost a lot of gear and filed a lot of claims. He's going to show you how. And after Dylan, we have a great manager from Toronto, Chris Martin from Do Good. And he is going to give you, what is his question? Like, when is the right time to seek a manager? Chris Martin is going to tell you when is the right time to seek a manager right after Dylan breaks down insurance claims. So Dylan has been my session drummer for like 20 plus something years. He's brilliant. If you guys need a session drummer, he can play anything, and he's got like 20 different kits, 1 or 2 set up at all times. And here's Dylan on insurance.
If you're watching this, there's a really good chance you have a lot of money invested in recording gear, musical instruments, computers, all of the stuff that goes into a career in music. And if your equipment isn't specifically insured with a musical instrument policy, you are really doing yourself a disservice. There have been 4 times in my career when I've needed musical instrument insurance. The first was right out of college. My band was on tour on the East Coast. Our van was stolen in the middle of the day with all of our instruments and all of our cash. We had no insurance. It was a real problem. So we got the insurance. So when somebody stole a saxophone as we were loading out of a gig, or when we started driving down the road and everyone thought that everyone else had closed the door to the trailer, we had the insurance. The big one for me was Hurricane Irene, when my old studio was flooded with 3 feet of water.
1936 Radio King, formerly in mission. Now it looks like this.
Don't let anybody on eBay see that.
That is nuts.
That is crazy.
Drumfacts.com. Good times. Good times.
A big thanks to Ken Lewis and our mutual friend Cooper Anderson for helping me haul the stuff out. I had a big claim that day, and it's why I'm in this place. I would have been ruined if I didn't. The reason you need a specific musical instrument policy is if you're using your instruments to make a living or to make money at all, they're not going to cover it out of your renter's insurance if you say take your recording rig with you to a session somewhere and it gets stolen. They're going to say you're using that for work, it's not covered, tough luck. I've used the company Music Pro Insurance for many years. They're the ones who got me through Hurricane Irene. They've been great. I recommend them. There are many other companies that will do the same. So when it came time to put in my claim, I had to give them the model number, the description of it, when I purchased it, how much I purchased it for. They wanted pictures of everything, including the serial numbers and all the damage. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it because I would have been in a lot of trouble if I didn't have everything insured. And it allowed me to rebuild in this place, which is actually a big step up from the old one. Regarding receipts, a lot of people, myself included, buy stuff off Facebook Marketplace, and people don't really want to give you big receipts. I always just print out whatever the listing is where I first found it. That's worked so far in terms of receipts for me. But the cool thing is, it's actually not that expensive. For example, at Music Pro, if you have $10,000 worth of instruments, it costs $127 a year to insure them. That's a year. So, you know, for what is that, $12 a month, $13 a month, you can insure all the tools you have. You're crazy not to. Of course, the best case is you'll never need to make a claim and you'll just grumble every year when you pay that bill. But if you do, you'll be really thankful you put the time in.
Hey Ken, to answer your question, I think it depends on the type of artist. Some artists are really self-proficient and do a lot of their own music curation and A&R process and, have a great creative eye and can do a lot of the branding and stuff like that off the start. Other artists have a vision but need help executing that. So I think just knowing yourself and where you're at, I think is important. But the beauty of bringing one on early is that they can expand your opportunities and connections and relationships with other producers and writers and DSP relations. They can also handle a lot of the stuff that, maybe is a bit taxing on someone with an artistic mind. Some of the negotiations with other producers you're working with, some of the strategy and administrative work. So in my opinion, you're really lucky if there's someone who believes in you at that early stage, who wants to come on board and be a part of things and help you with things. I think it's crucial for streamlining and jumping to next steps, being able to have a team. I think music is a team sport, and I think that, the more help you can get early on, as long as it's someone who believes in your vision and sees what you're trying to accomplish, the more you can allocate your time and energy to like the creative output and the vision of the project, and be able to hand off a bunch of the administrative and negotiation tasks and networking and all those kinds of things. Again, a lot of it is important for the artist to be across, but as much time as the artist can spend in the creative world, the better. So in my opinion, if you have that person in your corner, they don't have to be the most experienced person. They don't have to be the most connected person, but it's more about like the energy they're going to bring and what they're going to be able to take off your plate so you can focus on what's most important, which is the art. So my opinion is as early as possible and as early as it makes sense.
We are back. Thank you to my friends Chris Martin and Dylan Wissing for those awesome segments. I've known Chris Martin for ages, and he's a great manager, great friend, really knows his stuff, and has worked with some really high-level and talented artists. Standing behind me is one of my best friends since like 2005, 2006.
Easily.
And I never think about just how incredibly gifted and brilliant and credited up this woman is. This is Annette Navaro. And she is a videographer, photographer, creative genius in general. She's shot everything from international advertising campaigns to major label music videos. She does all of David Banner's video and videography work. And I'm going to turn her over to you. She's going to give you a great education in, I don't know what you're going to do tonight, but she told me about it, and I was like, that sounds like some guru shit right now. They need to hear that. So when I tell you she is one of the most gifted videographers and photographers I've ever met in my life, please pay attention to her. She really is. So this is Annette Navaro, and level them up, Annette.
Here I go. I'll give it a go. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Annette Navaro. I've been very fortunate to work with people as amazing as Ken. And in fact, when he asked me to orchestrate the opening scene for his show, I was right on it, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that we did for that. One of the things that I was talking to Ken a little bit about is finding a creative that's a great photographer and videographer, whether you're an artist, a songwriter. I've photographed producers, engineers, and artists such as Lizzo, Mac Miller I've worked with, and then of course David Banner met me in 2008. One of the things that I really think that I have to stress is that when you find a photographer or videographer that you want, if you're a manager looking for someone for your artist, it's so critical that whoever is in front of the camera feels super comfortable with the photographer. That is the key to all of this success, because in the end, we're not living in a world anymore where the record labels are necessarily orchestrating a person's identity. Artists are taking full ownership of who they are and how they want to be represented, and their vision for themselves and their creative juices flowing. So when you pick a photographer or a cinematographer to shoot photo and video, there has to be a connection. There has to be a frequency level that everybody's on the same frequency. And if you can't be yourself, no matter how famous the photographer is or they're trending, none of that matters if there isn't a genuine symbiotic relationship between the two people. The first advice that I have is that you communicate with the photographer. You communicate and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is my vision. Make sure that you clearly state that you have a mood board. This is the direction that you want to go. Now, one of the mistakes that I think artists make sometimes is that they're so specific to what they're looking for that they then lock themselves into not being able to be flexible, especially if you hire a photographer that is very experienced and has a lot of knowledge. For instance, I can work with a new artist and they can give me an idea for their vision, but because I build an entire team where I select the makeup artist, I select the stylist, I'm in charge of set design, I come up with the lighting, I actually listen to the music. Of course, I sign NDAs and I don't release music that is not to be released. And I use that as inspiration and I mirror with the artist what they're looking to do. Also make it very clear what the expectations are, because expectations lead to what the budget is. So one of the things that I try to make clear with artists is, yeah, you want an elephant, you want a tiger, that's going to be $2,000. But some people have the budget for it and some don't. Now, the other thing too is I will also work with new artists who don't have a lot of money to spend. And then what we do is we work with relationships to try to pull in resources that I've had over the years. And I'm willing to work within people's budget, because for me it's more about the love of the music and the idea of what the person I'm photographing has in mind to create that art with them. And in the end, if you have good communication with the photographer, you're going to eventually create something that's so unique and of your own. And it's not about copying other people's work or finding trends. It's about being your authentic self in whatever line of work that you're in. And this goes down to even some of my favorite producers, engineers. Ken Lewis, he's one of my favorite subjects of all time. And in 2008, I ended up shooting David Banner for the first time. I just completed a shoot with him in Miami last week, shooting drone video footage on yachts, beautiful locations, and over a 17-year period, I've evolved with the artist because we realized that we had that symbiotic relationship where we were always going to feed off of each other. So my final point to everyone is, make sure you love working with the person that's going to bring out the best in you. And usually it's just finding that frequency where you can be anything you want to be and you feel safe and you trust in the person that you've handed over the creative reins, that you can lead the charge together. There it is. Ken, how are you? Okay, that's my advice to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Y'all just don't understand the level of talent tapping in on this show. But she gave you a little inkling into what she can do. I think what she has in store coming up is pretty mind-blowing. So, yeah, we are very excited for a lot of things happening this year. Dylan Wissing, Josh S., Soundtrack Loops, Dafingas, Mixing Night Audio. Is that Lori Lewis? I love Lori Lewis. She is a cool cucumber. And her artwork throughout tonight's show has been brought to you by Lori Lewis. Speaking of, I want to give a huge, gigantic shout out to our video editor at large, Kyle Wolf. I really gave Kyle a lot to do for this show, and Kyle did all of the editing of almost all of these segments. He cut them together, he tightened up all of the flow, he added all of the content and everything. That's all Kyle. He has been an absolute rock star for Mixing Night, and we super, super appreciate him so much. and he really, really went to the mat for this show. Thank you so much, Kyle. And if y'all remember, was it the December show that I mixed one of his songs? Can't remember what it was, but Kyle, if you're on the chat roll, remind people, because a lot of people really love that song. Kyle's also a producer and songwriter, and he's really, really gifted. Mazzy, I am going to let you outside, you little barking bitch. All right, go. Go find mommy. Okay. Woo. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, Mazzy made it 90 minutes in. That is impressive. That must have been one hell of a good bone. I think that's like the most expensive show prop that we have to spend something on. That's like the more we spend, the longer she stays. It's really funny. What is even next after? Oh, we got Nicholas Molinder coming up in a hot second. If you don't know, so... Nicholas Molinder is one of the founders of Session Studio, which me and Coburn have been using to help write her album with. It helps kind of keep our lyrics all in one place, and all of our kind of audio clips and rough mixes, and then mixes and versions and things like that. But it also allows us to enter all of our rights in there. And Nicholas is going to tell you not only about how Session Studio can, he'll show you, but the long and short of it is there are a bunch of these codes: IPI, ISRC, ISRW, all of these things. Nobody knows what the heck they are, what they do, how they benefit you, and how you use those codes to allow companies to track your data worldwide and get you paid for your creative works. Nicholas is going to show you how. Please pay attention. And here's Nicholas.
Hi everyone. My name is Nicholas and I'm a songwriter and music producer. I'm also co-founder of Session Studio and music creators education platform Clip. Creating music is amazing, and the music industry is growing faster than ever before. There are more people in the world than ever listening to music and also paying for it. There are also more people creating music than ever, and there's an estimate of 150,000 new songs released on a daily basis. This creates a number of challenges for the music industry, because for the industry to be able to credit and pay us for the work we do as creators, they need to know who we are and who did what, where and when. This is, in the music industry terms, called metadata. To help you on the way, I'm now going to give you 3 simple tips that you should have in mind when you're in the studio creating music. Number 1, keep track of the music industry structure. Who are the involved parties? What is a label, a publisher, a manager, and a CMO or an aggregator? It's so important to keep track of what all these organizations and companies are doing for you and your business. 2, terminology. We in the music industry, we use an insane inconsistent terminology and are using so many different terms describing the same things. Just the term song, for example, that we use every day. Song is actually not a legal term. Song describes 2 different things in combination. It describes a musical work, which is the name of what we songwriters do. When we say that we wrote a song, what we actually did, we wrote a musical work. Sometimes we are also represented by a publisher, and the publisher is also involved in the musical work side. The second part of a song is called the sound recording. And the sound recording is what we actually can hear and what we create here in the studio when we record stuff. And the combination of the sound recording and the musical work makes a song. This is super important for you to understand, because many times you will be involved on both sides. And since the rights are handled completely different and you will get the payments and credits from completely different sides, you need to understand where your contributions belong. The third thing you need to know is the identifiers. To keep track of everyone, we cannot use names because people share the same names, and sound recordings and musical works also share the same names. So in the same way as we have social security numbers, there are also some numbers in the music industry that helps identify who we are and what we create. I'm going to mention them by name, but if you want to learn them more deeply and understand how they work, you can go to goclip.org because there we explain it more in detail. The first one is called IPI, and that is the unique identifier for songwriters. ISWC is the unique identifier for musical works. ISRC for sound recordings. IPN for the performers, the musicians, the artists, the producers that makes the sound recording a reality. And also ISNI is the fifth and last one, which is the newest one. You as a creator need to know the three identifiers that identifies you as a person then. IPI, IPN and ISNI. And for which ISWCs and ISRC you've been involved in. If all this information for all your work is in order before it's released to the market, you will get your payments much faster and much more accurate, and you will also get your credit. Sometimes this sounds a bit complicated, and it can be, and therefore we have created Clip. So if you want to learn more and stay updated on how the music industry works and everything you need to know to get credited and paid, go to goclip.org. It's all there. And also if you want support and using tools for capturing the data, there are many tools available. I recommend you to use Session Studio, which is the tool I represent, but there are also others that you can check out. Those tools are there to help you and simplify the capturing of the data so you can focus completely on the creation. Good luck in the future and with your next song. I can't wait to hear it. Peace.
We're back. Thank you very much, Nicholas. That was before Nicholas shot this segment for us. He and I got on a Zoom for like 30 minutes and just chopped it up. We're like very similar people, and he's very much into teaching and stuff like that. Definitely check out that goclip.org. That site looks amazing. Goclip.org. It looks like everything that you want to know about rights is kind of sandwiched up there. Man, that chat roll is popping tonight. Brianna, Shelko, what's up? Astro Joey. Who else? Kyle Wolf, the Wolfman. And who else do we have? Tarsia Shello, what's going on? Who else? Dylan, loved your segment. Except for, man, you've been through it with the fucking insurance, haven't you? Let's see. We still got Marcus Manderson coming up in maybe 5 minutes. Fire away with any questions. Oh, I got one. Jorge Ortega asks, hello, Ken. Do the SSL UF8 controllers have latency when working in Pro Tools? How has your experience with them been? I love them. I used to have an analog SSL mixing console, and it broke my heart, but I needed to sell it because I mix a lot of Atmos, and you can't really mix Atmos on a console. You kind of need to do it in the box. Moving to these controllers felt like I did not leave my SSL. So if you're an old school guy and you're used to working on SSLs, you will probably love these. There is zero latency between the faders. It feels just like the console. And to prove that point, one of the big things that I use the controller for is vocal comping. And so I'll have all of the vocals lined up. Say I have 16 takes, they're going to be across 16 faders. I see LV1 through LV16 up in my track windows, and everything is cut except for one. And I just go, if all of these are cut, I'll set a loop on the vocals. Like maybe 1 bar around 1 line so I can tap my foot to it and keep everything musical. And I'll start listening on 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and I don't even have to look at them. Muscle memory kicks in. Your hands, it's just like playing guitar. Within a day or two, your hands realize the distance between, these 2 mutes and these 2 mutes. It's just like working on a real console. Anybody who's put in any time on a real console knows the muscle memory feel. If you know an SSL EQ, this is all muscle memory feel. You don't have to look at the EQ. You just EQ. And that's everything about my workflow tries to take my focus off of the screen and onto what is coming out of the speakers and reacting to that music and making decisions based on that music and not based on what my eyeballs might be lying to me about. And especially when you're on the come up, it is so difficult to get away from mixing with your eyes, especially because everything is on screen nowadays. But I came up in the days of large consoles, and we didn't have the screen in front of us. The screen was like over here running the console automation of the faders and mutes, and that was it. And the speakers were in front of us, and the console was long, so we'd have speakers here and then speakers down here, so you'd always be in the sweet spot. Now it's different. Anyway, that's a little old school knowledge for you. I think in a moment, I'm going to go to Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery. He spent the week out at NAMM. I do believe he may have caught the NAMM thrax. Hopefully anybody else out there was healthy. My guys went out there and were healthy, so somebody was smart. But anyway, Marcus I think he did a panel out at NAMM as well. So he's turning beast mode lately, man. Marcus is really figuring out how to navigate this industry well. So tap in with him if you want to know. He's got his own thing cooking. And right now we're going to go to Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery.
What's good, Mixing Night family? This is Marcus Manderson back with another Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. In this Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment, we're going to talk all about my NAMM 2025 recap. Let's get into it. To start it off, the week showed up a couple days early, and I had to check out the LAMP. I am a LAMP alum, the Los Angeles Academy for Music Production and Artists, or something like that. Shout out to Stargate. I met Tor and Mikael from Stargate. Had a chance to hang out with them. Had a chance to listen to some great music from some great artists. Also, after that, got to hang out with Lava, who is an incredible music supervisor for one of the top trailer music companies. Learned some trailer music gems from her. Had a great lunchtime chat with her, and then the next day headed out to Fox Studios to check out a live orchestral recording sessions. You see a little bit of the backlot. I couldn't show too much here, but got to hang out with Damon Tedesco, the son of Tommy Tedesco. He is also an engineer. He's worked on hundreds of films, who always invites me to the great studio sessions while there. This was a session seeing an orchestra record live to an animation, one of the top animated shows in the world. This is their server room here. This is the drum room. This is me directing the orchestra from the actual conductor stage there. And this is the actual conductor, John. He's incredible. I had to blur out the actual image there of what they were playing. This is the composer, Walter, so I got to hang out with him. You might see him on a panel or two in the coming year, so stay tuned. And then it was all time to get ready for NAMM, checking out the actual NAMM show sign, the iconic sign. Then the morning of my actual panel was 10 a.m. On the 23rd, and I had the little blurb here in the book. This launched the Tech Tracks the morning of. There was another breakfast going on, Industry Insights, and then had to get ready for the panel in California Ballroom A. I had 5 incredible music supervisors on the panel. I talked about them briefly. This is after the panel. We had almost 300 people in the room. We had over 600 people register. So a lot of great panelists, a lot of great questions asked from the audience. I will have a recording available soon, so stay tuned for that. And then got to hang out on the showroom floor the rest of the week, checking out some gear. This is the Rolly, I believe it's called Airwave from Rolly. So got to hang out, got to see some performances. Is Tia P, who was an incredible performer. She was on season 2 of Rhythm and Flow. And then this is Mia Asano, my favorite violin player. Had a chance to finally meet her in person. I didn't meet her in person until NAMM. She had some performances all over. So got to hang out with her for a couple minutes before her performance, and she killed it on stage. She killed it on stage with her band. And then I got to check out this thing I was really excited for, the X-Key series of instruments from ESI Audio. They have a new one coming out called the X-Synth, and I'm excited for that. That will be out, I think, in the early spring. And they also have the X-Key Air 37 and the X-Key Air 25. So these are portable keyboards. They're really flat. So they were telling me a little bit about this one that's going to be out in a couple of months. Then got to hang out in the NPC room. There was a live cookup with Zaytoven. Then this panel I was excited for, JD and Brian Michael Cox. I finally met Brian Michael Cox. So yeah, great hanging out there. Then this panel was incredible. This was JD, Brian Michael Cox, Roger Lynn, Jimmy Jam, and Just Blaze. Incredible panel. The NPC Legends panel hosted by Andy Mack there on the far left. So some more gems dropped there. And then just got to check out the showroom floor more. I didn't walk the floor too often, but got to connect with people, some gear, some brands that I work with. And then so the last day before heading back home, I met this artist, Leah, who's in the middle there. She was about to perform, but I didn't know she was about to perform. I met her. She said, I'm a singer. And I was like, oh man, I would love to hear you sing. She's like, I'm about to perform on the stage in a couple of minutes. So I got to hear her sing. She killed it. I'm not going to play the performance there. And then there were parties all week. I couldn't keep track of all the parties. There was at least 3 or 4 parties each night, different studios, different areas, different locations around the city. This is just one of the parties because I didn't get footage of all the parties, but got to hang out, got to play some music. airdropping files to the computer and playing. I played some trailer ideas. So yeah, always a good time to hang out and enjoy the fun. So shout out to NAMM, shout out to the whole team over at Tech Tracks and NAMM, shout out to the panelists I had, shout out to everyone that attended. Everyone from this community, I know I met some of you in person. So thank you for coming out and showing up. Some of you I didn't meet, so stay tuned for the next event. There will be more events, fingers crossed. So hopefully we will see you at the next one. This has been Marcus Manderson with another Mixing Night Mad Mystery Moment. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right? All right. Peace.
What's up, Mixing Night community? This is Dom Rinius coming to you from Hamburg, Germany. And today we're talking about the music.
Good morning. I'm Brianna Shelko. I own Level Up Music Productions. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I've made some money creatively in the music industry. Thank you, Ken Lewis, for having me on to talk about what I do. So as of right now, I own a sonic branding and custom music production house. And one of the ways that I've had to get creative with making some additional income is selling off IP. A lot of people will tell you, oh, don't sell your master, don't sell your publishing, don't sell anything. But let me tell you, when you have $0 and you're creative and you can keep creating, sometimes it benefits to sell, if it makes sense for you. So like, for example, you have a collaborator and you sell 10 songs for $10,000. Each collaborator gets $5,000. And, if there's two. And that's one way to make money in general. And then sonic branding is something I'm really passionate about because I was in advertising for 10 years. And as a social media strategist and executive, I noticed a need for not just royalty-free music, but custom music that is sonically branded to the brands I was working on. And so I would create jingles or I'd create custom mnemonics that were made just for the brand and kind of what their audience would be going for and what their audience would be drawn to offset any additional production costs and prove an ROI. So that's kind of what we do on the production music side. We go directly to the brand. We find out exactly what they want to sound like and who they want to sound like. And, what does it mean for their customers? Like, how are we going to get them to gravitate towards them? And we create custom mnemonics that resonate with the brand. And they can use it on a tap system. They can use it in their lobby. If it's a brick and mortar, they can use it across all digital media. Kind of like a ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You think Golden Arches, or if you hear ta-dum, you think Netflix. I was advised by a music executive to create my own sound design library. So I've been working on that with a composer out of the UK as well to create an additional revenue stream, not just, mnemonics for sonic branding or trailerized originals or anything like that, but actual sound and sound design. So we're slamming refrigerator doors and adding like crazy reverb to it. We're screams and, noises and stuff like that. And this is going to help, provide another additional stream of revenue for me. Hope this helped. Thanks, Ken, for having me on Mixing Night. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.
Thank you, Brianna Shelko. I met Brianna at the Production Music Conference in Los Angeles last September, I think. And I'm here to tell you that woman knows how to network and make connections and just, I don't know how she does it, but it's really impressive. I don't have those skill sets. So if you want to understand a whole lot more about networking, keep following her. She is really, really good at it. And thank you for the tips, Brianna. I think I'm going to be down at the Sync Spotlight in Atlanta, Georgia on April 5th, if I'm correct. Brianna, please let them know on the chat roll. I think it's a Sync Spotlight, April 5th in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be on a panel or two. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I haven't been back down to Atlanta in decades. Man, it's been forever. Let's see, who else is on the chat roll? Man, there are so many people tonight. Great to see everybody. So many new faces. I just saw Seamus up there. There's a whole bunch of new people that are already passed that I can't shout out because they're here and gone. All right. Where are we with... Oh, yeah. DeFingers is just basically saying, there's nothing like the personal meetups, and that is 100% true. It's probably been my Achilles heel of my career, is that I don't put myself out there much. I like putting myself out there like this and not real people. I don't. I love New York City, but I'm not a fan of people. But I've never networked much because work has always found me, which is a blessing and a curse. Because when work always finds you, you lose touch with people that you really don't want to lose touch with. And you don't keep working with people that you might otherwise really tap in and want to keep working with them just because you're too busy when they call or whatever. So people like Dominic gave advice tonight for kind of how to avoid that and navigate better. So did Brianna. So did Nicole Zuraitis. Man, so much talent tapping in tonight. It is crazy. Is there anything else on the DAW that I wanted to show you all what I was doing? Let me see. Did I'm going to pull up not this session, but my session before this on this song. I'm going to show you the dopest trick on, yes, right here, on split EQ, I believe. So this one, just because I needed to cook it up quickly, I grabbed Eventide split EQ, which is great. Love it. I'm not hating on it at all. But lately I've been using the DJ Swivel hit strip a lot, which has got split EQ, it's got every kind of EQ, everything you ever seen in your life. Okay, we have this impact, this thing. Really, really punchy. It's too punchy when everything hits because it hits with other things at the same time. But I want that low rumble that it gives me. I just don't want so much of the impact because it's going to distort the speakers at that moment. So what I did was I grabbed a split EQ and I took the what is that called? The transient component. Thank you, Ken. My brain does work a little bit. I took the transient component, which is this green line, and I just EQ'd the transient down. And here, you can even lift the resonance to compensate. So now we're going to get much more rumble and much less impact. And now I can turn it up and get more overall bass out of it without getting too much push. Hear how it hits and dies when I bypass it? That's how the sound normally is. So it's too strong of an impact and then it goes away too quickly. I've just taken a bunch of the impact away but turned up the actual rumble, which is what a split EQ will do. See, you have transient and tonal. So the green affects the transient and the blue affects the tonal. Alright, how do you like that one, huh? Let's see, do we still have Mark Abrams to go to? I believe we have Mark. I'll go to him in a minute if there's any questions for me. Yeah, Eric Lee, networking is essential, but I'm kind of difficult since I'm an introvert. Eric, you're preaching to the choir, buddy. There are certain extroverted and introverted things about me. I just don't, I like making music. And I have had the very good fortune of most work finding me, which is a true blessing, so that I don't have to go look for it, because I hate that part of this business. I'm getting better at it. But I'm also consolidating my forces and building my camp and selecting my artists that I produce much better. I'm producing 2 artists that I am super excited about right now. Oh, it's going to be such a good year. You guys have no idea what's coming. Oh, but you're going to hear it. Okay, we're going to go to my friend and Pink Jacket producer, Mark Abrams, who, if y'all remember so Mark Abrams works for Pure Mix, and he has his own YouTube show called The Great Big Plug-In Show on the Pure Mix channel. You guys should definitely check it out. And I had Mark down here for one of the shows, and we like dual sprint mixed against each other, and we did this whole like Instagram campaign leading up to it, where we were like frenemies. It was the funnest thing that either of us ever did. It was hilarious. So whenever you see me and Mark going after each other, it's completely in jest, and we're good friends. And even though he does look amazing in pink, and that jacket is chef's kiss, you should wear that to every session, Mark. I'm telling you, artists are going to love you in that. Especially with the sunglasses and the hat, the whole package. You got to roll in like that, man. People are going to give you instant respect, Mark. So let's go to Mark Abrams.
Hello, Mixing Night Audio. My name is Mark Abrams. I am a mixing engineer. I am the content manager for puremix.net. And I'm a studio manager of Vaughn Music Studios here in Columbus, Ohio. Basically, the key theme here is going to be any kind of repetitive task. You want to automate that stuff and get it out of your life so you can get back to doing the creative. Because I had automated those things with Vaughn and with Pure Mix, I was able to increase my time spent doing regular mixing. Thankfully, due to like online presence stuff, my mixing career was taking off and I was getting way more requests in. And I had to do the same thing for my mixing business. So I'm going to give you an example of automation inside of my mix business. It's really easy when you're working on a whole lot of songs and things are coming in fast and people need fast turnaround times and you're working on multiple songs a day. It's easy to forget invoicing. It's easy to forget a lot of stuff. So I'm going to guide you through how I create a Pro Tools session and all the different steps that happen. The first thing that I do is I use a program called SoundFlow, and I use SoundFlow to also send information over to Zapier. And I have one of these, I actually have 2 of them on my desk because I'm so in love with this stuff. SoundFlow is a life changer. Definitely check it out, and Zapier as well. But this is a Stream Deck. This one has 4 rows of 8 buttons. I've got 2 of these guys here. And the cool thing about these is these buttons all have little LCD screens behind them that will change based on what you're doing. So it allows me to do something called contextual computing. And what that means is if I tab over to Pro Tools and focus that application, all of these buttons will change so they show me Pro Tools commands. If I switch over to the Finder, all these buttons will change and it'll show me different Finder commands. It'll show me different applications for quick launching, all of that. So when I create a new session, I will hit a button on my Stream Deck that says New Session, and then what happens is a little modal, it's called a modal, a window will pop up on screen and ask me for the artist name and the song name. It'll then check a database to see if I've worked with that person before or not. If I haven't, it'll create a client folder inside of my Dropbox folder. It'll create a folder for the song. And then it'll come back and give me another window saying, hey, I need to know the client's first name, their last name, and the billing email that they're going to get, as well as their phone number. So I'll put all that information in, and now it'll update my database with all of that. After that, it's going to copy my template into the song folder, and it's going to create a bunch of subfolders in that song folder with things like incoming files, where I'll put all the files that come in from the client. It'll create a finals folder with subfolders saying things like alt mixes, group stems, and an FAQ, which is just a little guide for the client saying like, hey, the alt stems are these things and this is where you use them, upload this version of the mix, this one's for QC, all that kind of stuff. Or if it's a Dolby Atmos file, it'll tell them how they can actually listen to it on their Apple AirPods or with headphones or whatever, because it's not exactly easy at this point. But I digress. It'll also create a card on a board that I have for all of my projects. So in that card is all the information that I need. It's all the links to the Dropbox folders, all of that stuff. And it's now put into my project management software called Motion. Motion.app. This one is a life changer. Basically, Motion is a project manager that also schedules time for you. Now we're getting back to work-life balance. So I have certain times that I have to pick up my kid from school, and I can't be working for a couple hours until my wife returns from her job. So basically I tell it, I'm willing to work from when I get home at 9 a.m. until 3:45 when I have to leave to go pick up my kid. And then I'll work for a couple more hours after he goes to bed late at night, and maybe my wife has gone to bed or whatever. I'll do some more work then, and then I'm not working on weekends, and this is the time that you can schedule tasks. So it will look across all of my tasks and all of the deadlines for those tasks, and it will make a calendar for me saying, this is when you should do this task, this one, and you'll hit the deadlines by this time. I can look at my calendar for 2 months out and tell you what I'm going to be doing on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. Because it's all put in right there. The other amazing thing about this AI scheduling tool is if my kid is homesick from school, I just block out that day saying like, Vince sick, and it'll take all the tasks from that timeline and it'll spread them out on the calendar and put them in new spots and try to make everything fit. If it can't make everything fit, it'll notify me and say, hey, you're in danger of missing a deadline. So I can either contact my client, say, hey, this is what's going on, I'll get back to you, or I can reschedule the task and make sure it hits and try to move stuff around. So those are the basic ways that I use automation. I know all of that's really heady, especially without me doing on-screen demos. And if you guys would like to hear more about that, nag Ken and tell him to bring back that nerdy automation guy, and maybe I could show you some individual examples of these things.
Oh, we are back, and it is 10 o'clock. Thank you for joining me tonight. I have got, what have I got on the turntable right now? Let me show you guys. BT Express, do it till you're satisfied. Oh, man, this is like kind of in the same general ballpark as like Sly and the Family Stone. I just found this record tonight. I acquired 2 record collections middle of last year, and I'm still finding new stuff that's in those collections. And man, I found this morning and put it on when I first got to the studio. That's what I've been doing a lot ever since I got my turntable and my record collections. I'll get in the studio first thing in the morning and I'll just drop the needle on a record like this, and I will get my ears and my soul trained back up for music. And like, especially records like this I've been really partial to lately, because these are the types of things that everybody samples. And there is a reason why everybody samples this stuff. The players are just amazing. If you want to understand what feel means and what pocket means and how players play with each other and off of each other and how they groove together, these old soul records are just amazing. And I would say my favorites are Sly and the Family Stone, is it the Gap Band, BT Express band, all the old Aretha records and James Brown records. I've been listening to those like crazy. It's been such, and the amazing thing for me is I did not grow up listening to that music at all. My education in soul music and hip hop and samples and all of that stuff started in 1993 in New York City, in Midtown Manhattan, as a staff, first intern, then assistant, then engineer at SoundCheck recording studios in Midtown. I was staff there for 2.5 years. I went freelance in 1995, and I've been freelance for 30 years. 30 years. And if you don't understand truly what freelance means, it means every single day I have to figure out where my next paycheck is coming from, because nobody's going to go get it if I don't go get it. But there is nothing better than being your own boss if you're built for that mentality, and if you're built for the ebbs and flows. Sometimes there's going to be times where you are doing fantastically well and everything is clicking and the money is great. And there are going to be times where everything is fantastically shitty and everything is falling apart and you're broke and the phone's not ringing and you wonder what the hell happened. And just as it's getting the darkest, that phone's going to ring again, and you're going to be right back in the game, and shit's going to turn around. There are real pendulum swings in this business. You got to really be built for it. You got to, I think the number one thing that I have seen in so many of the most successful people in this business is they don't have a plan B. They can't see themselves doing anything else, and this is it, or what the fuck am I going to do? It's this or nothing. And the artists who wake up in the morning as an artist, live their day as an artist, and go to bed as an artist and do it again the next day are the people that when I think of artists, especially even people on the come up, Coburn, Scrizzly Adams, who's got 400 million streams now. He didn't do that by not waking up every morning saying, I am an artist, and acting upon that. It's, you got to determine what level you want to play at if you want to be in this business. And if you just want to be a hobbyist, man, welcome aboard. This show is really as much or more for the hobbyists so that you guys can level up your own music that you make and be happy with it and proud of it, and tap in with other creatives. That's super important to me. And, the people who want to be pros, then you got to understand I'm your competition and you guys got some work to do. And but we're here to level each other up, and I'm glad you're tapping in with us. I am gonna go listen to the rest of BT Express, and you guys all have a really great evening. I'm gonna do some more shout outs from, hey, there's Matt Thrasher, haven't seen you yet. Buck Toofus, Nico Jet Music, I saw you earlier. Shelko, what's good? Johnny Maverick, what's good? Thanks for tuning in, man. Seamus Cranley, what's good, Seamus? Soundtrack Loops, you're still popping. Ben Kruger, you're still up there. Silvano, Dylan, Mark. Oh, there's Mark Abrams. Don't listen to Mark Abrams. Anything he says is probably a lie. I wouldn't just, okay, I love Mark Abrams. He's great. Josh S., what's good, brother? Michael Bruce Miller. You're welcome, Michael Bruce Miller. Thank you. The Mix Club, Studio Rat 67, Adam Slinger, Slang MVP. This Mark Abrams guy, I think he's a troll. I'm not really sure. Just ignore Mark Abrams. I believe he's trolling us. Big Ben the Prodigy, what's good, Big Ben? Thank you for you and Wavy tapping in with us today. That was a really fun interview that I did with him. Bill Dwyer, he's got the Soundcraft group, DeFingers. Check him out. He does a bunch of sync music stuff. And he's got like a newsletter, and he's always giving juicy, informative stuff. And he always brings the heat to mixing night. Y'all know that. G Music, who's Herbie Brown? Man, you guys are still active tonight. This is really impressive. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I just had the best night. We worked so hard putting this show together. Big shout. Oh, I'm going to give some shout outs here. I already shouted out Alicia and Ann and Kyle. Pat Hundley. Shout out to Pat Hundley. Shout out to my faders of the Lost Art Brothers. Shout out to Mark Urselli. He mixed the premiere ceremony at the Grammys front of house, and it sounded amazing. And I won a Grammy, so thanks for mixing that perfectly. And everybody who took the time to congratulate me on all my socials, on my Grammy win. It's my second statue. Fucking what? How did this? Huh? So, fun story before I go. My life goal at 18 years old was to someday earn one gold record. Someday earn one. Now I have official credits on 114 gold records and counting, and 60 Grammy-nominated credits, 8 official, 9 shots at a statue, and 2 statues to my name. You can do this too, but figure out what level you want to play at and get to work. And I am going to get to relaxing. Have a great mixing night. Thank you all for joining me. Good night.